To the tick-tock, you don't stop. To the tick-tick, you don't quit. Hit it! Hey PowerDirector peeps, how y'all doing out there? My name is Malik and I'm back on your screen with more PowerDirector love from PowerDirectorUniversity.com. Today I'm going to be bringing you a tutorial on the news ticker in PowerDirector 16. So let's jump off into the software and make it happen. Here we are in Photoshop. Before we get started, I want to remind you to subscribe to PowerDirector University to see great tips and tricks just like this every Saturday. Let's get our ticker on. I have a picture open, and this picture is made up of 5 separate layers. On the side, you can see each layer, which is a different element of the picture. So as I click on this little eye here, you'll see that the different pieces of the picture go away. So this is the separator. This is my logo. Then we have the background to the logo. We have the upper banner and we have the lower banner. So I'm going to turn all these back on. Now, you can search on YouTube to find out how to make layers using Photoshop or even how to make layers using a free program called paint.net. So I'm not going to go through all how I did this, but you just need to know that you need to create your banner and make it into different layers so that you can select or deselect which parts of the image you want to save. Now, in order to make this news ticker, I'm going to save this in 2 separate images, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to create the upper piece of the banner. And the upper piece of the banner is going to move separately from the bottom piece. And it's going to have different text on it than the bottom piece. So I want to save this as its own separate element. Now, the part that has the white and gray checkerboard is going to be transparent. You won't be able to see that once you get it into PowerDirector. Whatever video element you have behind this will show where that checkerboard is. So to save this, I'm going to do File. I'm going to go to Save As. And I'm going to go to the Format section. And I'm going to change it to PNG. Now, what this does is it'll make sure that it creates an image that has transparency wherever that gray and white is. And I want to have that so I can see the background of the video behind it. You can see I already have saved the upper banner here, so I'm not really going to save this. But if you were to save it, you would just click on Save. So I'm going to click on Cancel. And then to save the lower banner, I would just go ahead and check the eyeball here for the lower banner. And then I would deselect all the other pieces. And so now all of this will be transparent and it'll only have the lower banner, and I would save it the same way. Now, if you want to save this for later use, you can save it as a PSD file, which you can utilize later on and change up and switch things around. And it's really a great way to save these files just in case you want to use it in the future, but make some changes to it. And to do that, you would do the same thing. Just do File, Save As, and here you would leave the format as PSD. And you see I already have a saved PSD file of the complete banner. Now that I've saved the images that I want, I have 2 separate images. I have an upper layer and a lower layer, and I can go into PowerDirector to create the news ticker. So now I'm in PowerDirector and I have a video clip on the timeline that's going to serve as the background of all of the images of the banner. So if I were to just scrub this here, you'll see that it's someone, a waitress filling out a check or an order for someone at a restaurant. So what I want to do is I want to start placing these banners and the text into the tracks below the video so that those images show up above and on top of the video. So remember, PowerDirector uses a bottom-up approach. So whatever's at the top is actually behind everything, and whatever's at the bottom is in front of everything. So I want to make sure that I have 5 tracks available. If you don't have 5 tracks available, you can just come down here. You can right click and go to add tracks. You click on that, it'll give you the option to add a video track, an audio track, and even an effect track wherever you want. So I'm going to click on cancel. And I already have 6 tracks available right now. So I'll start off by adding the upper banner to track 4. So I'm going to left click on it. I'm going to drag it down here to track 4. And I want it to be above the lower banner and the lower text that I'll be adding later. And that's why I'm skipping tracks 2 and 3. So I'm going to stretch this out to be the same length as the video clip here. So I'm going to place my cursor at the end of this clip until I see 2 arrows. I'm going to left click my mouse, hold it down, and drag this out until it snaps and it turns blue. So the play headline is now blue. I'm going to let it go. And now it's the same length. Now, I'm going to double click on this to open the PIP Designer. And I want this to slide in from the left. So I'm going to make sure that the playhead is at the beginning. And I'm going to click on this keyframe button for position. Now for the first position, I'm going to change the X to 1.5 and I'm going to hit enter. And as you can see, that drug it all the way off the screen. And then I'm going to move my playhead forward to 2 seconds. And the reason why I'm moving it to 2 seconds is because this is where I want it to actually be on the screen fully. So it's going to take about 2 seconds for it to get all the way onto the screen by putting a keyframe here. So I'm going to place a keyframe here. And I'm going to change this position to 0.5. So what will happen now is if I scrub this, or if I play this, you'll see that it's going to move directly onto the screen and it'll stop at 2 seconds where it needs to be. Perfecto. So I'm going to click on stop. So I have access to the controls again. And now I want to make sure that this is in the correct position on the screen. So I'm going to go to the second keyframe. And under object settings for the Y position, I'm going to change this to 0.9. And that should put it right at the bottom of the screen. Now, if you don't know the number for yours, you can just drag it down to where you need it to be. And then I'm going to go back to the first keyframe. And I'm going to make sure that the object setting for the position there is also 0.9. And that way it'll slide directly from left to right when I play it back. Perfect. That's the way I like it, baby. So I'll click on stop again. And we're all set up with the upper banner. So now I'm going to click on OK to lock in all the changes I made. So next I want to bring down the lower banner that I created. Now, since it's going to be below all of the text and the upper banner, I want to place it on track 2. So I'm going to go here to the lower banner, left click on it, hold down my mouse, and drag it down here to track 2. Now, I want it to come in after the upper banner. And so since I made the upper banner stop and hold itself in place at 2 seconds, I'm going to make the lower banner start at 2 seconds. Get it? We don't want it to start before. We don't want it to even be seen until the 2-second mark. So I'm going to drag this over. Guess it's around 2 seconds right now, and I'll fix that in a second. I'll place my cursor here so I see the 2 arrows. Hold down my left mouse and drag it out to the duration. Now I'm going to click on movie so I can tell exactly where my timeline, so I can tell exactly where my playhead is. It's at 2:02. I'm going to go back 1, 2. Just going to drag this out just to make sure. Yeah, it has a little bit over here, so I'm going to click on this and drag it over to the 2-second mark. And now I know it's starting exactly at 2 seconds. So now I'm going to double click on the lower banner to open it up in the PIP Designer. And I want this to slide in from behind the upper banner. So I want it to kind of start where the upper banner is and drop down into place. So what I'm going to do for this one is at the beginning of it, I'm going to add a keyframe. And I'm going to move the Y position to 0.8. And it looks like it's on top of the other banner, but it's really behind it. Okay, it's just showing it in front of it right now so I can see everything on the screen. But this tells me it's right behind that where I need it to be. And so now I'm going to move my playhead 2 seconds out. And I'm going to add a keyframe here. And I'll move this to 0.9 and hit enter. You may need to drag it where you need to drag it. All right, but now we can play an example of this back to see how it looks. Just play this. And we see that the banner drops into place behind the other one. Perfecto, right where I want it. So I'm going to hit stop here. So now I'm going to click on OK. And my banner is all set up now. So if I were to just play this back, we'll see that the bottom banner slides into place, or the top banner, and then the bottom banner drops in. So that's exactly what I wanted. But now I got to add my text. So that's the next step. I'm going to place text onto track 5. And this will be text that'll be above everything on top of that upper banner. So I'm going to go to the title room. And I'm just going to use the default text. I'm going to drag this down to track 5. And I actually wanted to start at 2 seconds. So I'm going to drag it to match up to the lower banner. The reason why I wanted to start at 2 seconds is because remember this slides into place, and at 2 seconds is when it stops. So I want my title to start when the upper banner stops. I'm going to drag this out to the end like I did before with the other piece. Now I'm going to double click on this to open it up. And I'm going to add my text in here. And you just need to go ahead and make it whatever height and width you want it to be. So that's a good size for me. So I just went down to object settings and I changed the width, and it's maintained aspect ratio, so the height changed as well. Once again, I already know what size I need these things to be. You may need to manually do this. I also know exactly where the position is, so you can either put your cursor here till you see the X and drag it where you want it, or you can type in the position that you want it to be at. And since I know my position, I'm just going to type it in. All right. And now I want this to fade onto the screen. I don't want it to just pop up and appear. So I'm going to go to Effect, and then Starting Effect. And I'm going to scroll down until I find Fade, which is right here. Just click on it, and it's been applied. So now I'm going to click on OK. And I'm good to go with that text. So let's play this back, so you get an idea what it looks like. So it slides in, text fades on, and it drops down. Good to go. The last thing I need to do is add text to the bottom banner, and I want the text that I'm going to add to the lower banner to disappear behind the upper banner. And this is why I put the upper banner here, so I can place the text here. So the text is really behind these two things. So what will happen is when it hits this separator, the text will disappear, because all of this is one element, the blue and the black, and the gold is a separate element. So whatever I have here will go right underneath it. So by putting it on track 3 between these two, sandwiching it, it goes behind these things. Got it? Good. I'm going to drag down the same default text. And this time I want it to start at about 4 seconds, because remember, the lower banner starts at 2 seconds. You can see here that it starts at 2 seconds because of the gap here. And then it takes 2 seconds for it to move all the way down and lock itself into place. So that means that I want the text to start at 4 seconds. Got it? Clear as mud? All right, let's go. I'm going to move my playhead to 4 seconds. I'm going to try to drag this forward to 4 seconds here. So you can see the start time at the bottom. So I got it right at 4:02. Let's try this again. 4 seconds. Bam. So you can see the start time. I dragged it till the start time said 4 seconds. So I know that it's starting at 4 seconds. I'm going to place my cursor here and drag this out so it lasts the whole duration. Now I'm going to double click on the title. And I'm going to type in my text. All right, so I got my text all typed in. And I'm going to change the size of the text. Got to make sure I select my text here. I want to change this to 8. And now you can go ahead and use your mouse to drag this where you want. But I already know the position exactly that I want. So I'm going to just scroll down here to the object settings. And I'm going to type in the X position that I want. And the Y position that I want. And it places it right on top of this lower banner. So that's where you want to put it. And you might want to change the color of your text. It's really up to you. I'm going to go ahead and change it to black. I just like the contrast of the different colors on there. And now the last thing I want to do is I want to make this scroll behind the upper banner, which is scrolling all the way to the left. So I'm going to go to Effect. Guess I should select my text first, huh? And then I'll go to Effect. And I'm going to scroll down until I find Scroll Left, which is right here. I'm going to click on that. And now if I play this back, you should see it scroll in from the left, came from off the screen to on the screen, and it should scroll right on behind the upper banner. So we're good to go there. So I'm going to click on OK. And now if I play this back, you should see all of the lovely glory that is the news ticker. All right, PowerDirector peeps, thanks for watching the video all the way through to the end. Truly means the world to me. And now, I want to send a shout out to one of my subscribers, Stufu. Stufu makes gaming videos, skits, and vlogs on his YouTube channel. So, if you're into gaming, you want to see some cool little skits, or you want to hear his vlogs, watch his vlogs, head on over to his channel, check out a couple of his videos, and if you're feeling what he's dealing, make sure that you subscribe. If you're a subscriber to the channel and you want to get a shout out like Stufu did, head on over to the video description and click on the shout out request form. If you got a tutorial you want us to make, head on over to the video description and click on the tutorial request form. Now that I'm done with all of that, I got a few things I need you to do for me. The thumb. The one that's pointed in the upward direction, click on it. It lets people know that the content in this video is good and that they should watch it too. If you got any questions, comments, you just want to talk and chop it up with your boy, leave those things in the comment section below. And last but not least, smash that subscribe button. And after you do, click on the bell. When you click the bell, you receive notifications every time I upload content to YouTube. And that way you don't miss out on any of the learning and all of the fun. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.